Hey,
Hey,
here we are again.
there we
So
are again.
this time we thought we would do a little demo of creating a Hyvä compatibility module. The idea being that we have all these hundreds and thousands of modules for Magento, right? But they've all been built for Luma. And because Hyvä completely rebuilds the front end, the idea is we have these small, thin compatibility modules which make the existing modules compatible to Hyvä. And I think that's a very important aspect of working with Hyvä. And we can either make modules compatible in the context of a theme. So while we're theming a site, we can just add any template changes that are required for a module to work in Hyvä in a theme, right? But the benefit of these compatibility modules is, of course, reusability, just like regular modules. So if I build a compatibility module and share it, anybody else can just pick it up and use it. And our idea is to have a big pool of compatibility modules over time. So at least all the modules that are used a lot. I might need one and it's already there, so I can just use it. And at the same time, if I create a compatibility module for a project, I can share it and somebody else can profit from that. And that will make all our lives easier, and we can focus on the stuff that's actually important for a client. And most of the time, creating these compatibility modules is pretty straightforward, actually. I've done a handful so far. It's been a rather pleasant experience. So we'll see how this one goes. We picked a very simple one. And this is, let me share my screen here. So the extension that we want to make compatible this time is the mirrorsvit attachment module. And what it does is it allows attaching, creating attachments, right, files, and icons for different file types and so on, and then adding those to products and categories and such. So for products, they usually in Luma, they appear in this attachments tab here. They can also be added to CMS pages and categories, right? So that's the idea. And so far I've just installed the module, and I created two little test attachments here, just some random files, just little screenshots, and we can created them today here. And let's see, the module itself is installed right here. And if I look at it, I can see in the view directory in view front end, it has a few layout files, a couple of template files, and here in web, well, there's only a less file. So that's actually pretty cool for this example because there's no JavaScript involved. That makes it a lot easier. The amount of work it usually takes to make a compatibility module, it depends a lot on how much JavaScript there is. Right? It's actually kind of fun if there's a big jQuery widget somewhere and then converting that to Alpine, it just ends up being this small little thing. But we won't do that this time. This time we'll just focus on some other basics. So I created these sample there, and I also have a Luma store view right here. So I opened that in an anonymous tab, which is the same store, so same domain. So that's why I need to run it in an anonymous tab, so I can have a different session running with a different store view. And here we can see my two little test attachments. And it's a very handy thing to have when building these compatibility modules, to have a store view running Luma, just so it's possible to see how is it supposed to look. And then we can compare that to how it actually looks in Hyvä. So this module is installed and active right now. And if I go to the same product on Hyvä, let's see what happens. And what I usually do is I open up the console to see if there are any errors, right? So if I reload this here, no errors, which makes sense because there's no JavaScript. That's actually pretty nice. And if I scroll through this page here, it doesn't actually show up at all. That's not a bad starting point, actually. Quite often, with a new compatibility module, something's broken. But in this case, there's nothing, which isn't too bad. So how do we start out here? And the idea is for this compatibility module pool, we have a compatibility module group in our GitLab here, right? There are a whole bunch of modules in there. And I already created a stub compatibility module here. We have a script that creates it for a given module. Where is it? Attachment here. So if you want to create a new compatibility module, let us know, and we'll just run the script to create the module stub that contains all the necessary boilerplate. Okay, so now let's go ahead and install this here first of all. So I'll configure this repository. And now I want to install it. I'll just prefix this with composer memory limit. I didn't
know about this this global environment variable. Is that from your development environment, or is that always?
That's composer. It's also possible to run PHP with -d memory limit -1, but then I have to specify the full path to the executable. So
that's what I usually do. Yeah.
This is slightly more convenient, so that's what I tend to do. Yeah.
Cool.
Works just the same in effect. Yeah. Okay, so it's installing the dev main version of the compatibility module, which makes sense because we haven't tagged any releases yet, right? And I really have to update to Composer 2, but because I still have some older Magento 2 projects sort of lying around, I wasn't really able to yet. So once that's there, what I want to do is I want to enable the module, I guess. There we go. And let me check the module name. So now it should be installed. Let me leave that open here for reference shortly. And here in our namespace, Hyvä themes, lots of stuff in there. And here there should be there we go. Where is it? Attachment. So the module name is right here. And now I can enable this module. Okay, let's have a quick look through the module, maybe what's in this stub compatibility module, right? So we have the license agreement, standard Hyvä license in there. We have the README with installation instructions. We have a composer JSON, and we have a front-end di.xml. And what happens here is that the module is registered with the compatibility module registry as a compatibility module for the original module here, reverse fit attachment. What this does is, we'll see that shortly, it allows for a kind of automatic template file override, kind of like we can do with themes. So in a theme, we just copy a template from a module into a theme. And if it's the active theme, it will automatically be picked up. So here, the same thing is possible. We can now copy templates from the original module into our compatibility module, and it will just be picked up in the same way. It just removes a bit of unnecessary layout XML, just assigning new templates for all the templates we need to override. So that's the module. It's active. Let's go and have a look how how this is added to the page. These tabs don't exist in Luma, right? Thank you. Yeah. In Hyvä, we don't have tabs. We have these cards instead. So maybe we just add it to the page somewhere like this. So what have we got in the original module here? Front end, we'll just use a product view page for it. So they refer to product info details. This block doesn't exist in Luma, I guess, at least not in the same way. Otherwise, it already would be showing up. Let's check.
It doesn't exist in Hyvä.
Hyvä. Recording a video really makes me nervous, so sorry. You're right. So let's see what else have we got, right? So here in layout, product view.
Can I just quickly
yes, please
expand on why that is?
Yeah.
We have this reset theme for Hyvä that first removes all the blocks from Luma. And wherever possible, we kept all the containers and removed all the blocks, because the blocks output all the stuff that we don't want, and we re-implemented everything from there. And the tabs on the product page were rendered by a block with some specific logic to render that as tabs. And that's logic that we didn't bring into Hyvä. So usually any container that existed with Luma normally always exists in Hyvä as well, but not blocks. So in this case, we're looking for another extension point.
Right. Very good. So here we just, while talking about it, that's really good additional information there. I thank you. So this is the reset theme right here. And that's why that container block doesn't exist. If this were a theme that we are building, one option we would have is, of course, we could add that block again somewhere on our page. That makes sense for our theme, but because this is a compatibility module, we'll just use something that we've got. Wait a moment, that's category view. What I wanted to look at here was catalog product view. So this is other stuff, content. Here's product info main, product detail page. Maybe we just add it to product info main and see where it ends up, right? And then we can always move stuff around later if we want to. So in the original module, right here, so let's try moving this MST attachment block into product info main. So in the compatibility module, I lost it. There it is. I'll create the view directory, view front end layout, and a layout XML file. Hyvä catalog product view. Okay, so what is this here actually? That's a good opportunity to talk about it. In the original module, the block is configured in the catalog product view layout handle. And probably you're familiar with that as a Magento developer, right? So that's how we configure the contents of the product detail page. Now, if a Hyvä theme is active, every layout handle that exists, also there's another version of that with a Hyvä _ prefix, which only gets loaded if a Hyvä theme is active. That way, it's possible to create layout instructions for a page that will only be used on a Hyvä theme, and we still can have a Luma theme active at the same time, side by side to a Hyvä theme, and any Hyvä specific configurations don't apply to Luma. So that's kind of handy. So commonly in the compatibility modules, I always use the Hyvä _ prefix version of the layout handles. That way, yeah, it just kind of does what it should. These layout handles, by the way, with the Hyvä prefix are always applied after the regular ones. It's kind of handy.
This also means, by the way, that if you're building a custom module that you want to give also Hyvä capabilities, or want to make compatible with both Luma and Hyvä, you could just add another XML file with a Hyvä prefix, and you'll have one module that's compatible with both. So
yeah, actually, listen up, extension vendors. Right?
Yeah,
that's for you. Okay, so I want to add this to product info main. Let's see what happens. So I'll reload this. And oh, by the way, I've got this watcher running. I'm not sure if it automatically pitched. Oh yeah, look at this, watching new module. So it should see the new layout file already. Let's see what happens. Does it appear? Oh yeah, there it is. Cool. Okay. Let's see if we can give it some styling. And that's actually now where we can start benefiting from this automatic file template override, because we don't have to configure any additional layout XML here. All I'll do is I'll copy the list. I think was the template here, right? This one here, I'll take that and copy it over into our compatibility module, into the directory templates. There it is. Just to check it actually works. Let me see if it's being picked up. Yep, okay, cool. So now I can start doing some styling here. And please bear with me, I am not a front-end developer so far. It's changing slowly now, but I'm really not that familiar with everything. Willem did show me a nice trick though, right? How to find the right styles in Chrome or Brave in my case here. By the way, I'm running a development build of Hyvä, which means I have all the CSS classes in the CSS file. It's not purged like for production deployment here. So what that allows me to do, however, so here I have this attachment list, right? Now I can start adding classes to this. And I guess I'll start. So what have we got here? We have a UL, that's both attachments. And then an LE is one attachment. And then we have an A tag. And in there's image with the icon and the text. And then the next one. Okay. So I want these to be rendered side by side. Maybe first we'll make the image a bit smaller. So this is what Willem showed me here, this little classes editor. So I can start typing here. So I want to set the width or the height here. Let's start with the heights. And I get this pop-up for all the existing classes. So now I can just try to find the right class just by scrolling over it. Oh, that actually doesn't look too bad. That's a bit small. Actually, just scrolling, there are too many of these. So 4 is a bit small. 8. Yeah, 8 looks pretty good. Keep that. And I'll do the same for width. So we have both of those taken care of automatically. And now I also would like to make this render the text and the image side by side. So I guess if I make the A flex container. Yep, that works. Good, cool. And how about some padding? And originally I thought there's this gap class here, and I thought it only works for grids, but I recently learned it also works for flex, so that's super convenient. So yeah, that actually doesn't look too bad. Cool, so now I want to take these here and copy them over into the template. So this is this is flex gap, that's the A tag. Okay, so right here.
By the way, if you're not familiar with the Tailwind stuff yet, the Tailwind documentation side is amazing. It's so well written and such a good resource to find out about all these syntaxes. And like gap also has a gap X and a gap Y, so you can specify in what direction it should go.
Good point. I'll change that to a gap X. So yeah. Yeah, I'm already slowly getting more and more familiar with everything, but okay, look at this. This isn't too bad. Cool. So instead of gap 4, I'll use gap X 4. Yeah, that's better. I'll just add in. Okay, so now maybe a bit of space between the LI. So how about, maybe we can put a gap Y on the UL. I don't know if that works. No, because it's not a grid or anything. I don't think it'll actually work. No grid, no
You
flex.
could also, you could also change the display behavior of that, but I would probably go for a padding bottom on the list element.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, on the li element, not the ul element. Oops, I lost it. Let me inspect that again. Yeah. Here, there we go. So padding is P, B is padding bottom. So maybe 2. Yeah, looks okay. Okay, so that's so simple. I don't really have to copy it. Sometimes I have a lot more classes in there, so I just always copy the whole block over. But in this case, it's easier just to type it manually again, PB2.
You're a pretty convincing front-end developer already, Vinai.
You know, that sounds so good. Okay, it still looks like crap though. Okay, so maybe we can make it some kind of card like these here. Let me have a look how these look. So okay, so that's this kind of container thing. What happens if I just take a container like this and put it around this whole thing? Copy and paste development is always the best, right? Oh yeah.
That's a bit.
That's better. Oops. And yeah, all right. Now something's still missing though, right? What's here? So inside of this container, there's a review. There's a card thing. And then here, when we have a title, here we have a title thing. Let's add a title thing. What's in here? Okay, so there's a div with another bunch of classes and a h3 tag. Well, let me add that just because. Div class this here and an h3 tag, and in there we have these here. Oops, no, that's not the content. So I hope this isn't getting too boring. Basically, you were watching me doing copy paste, but to be honest,
this is what developer life is like.
That's what developer life is like, exactly.
You got to learn what you need to copy and paste, and then
exactly where to find it. That's it. Okay, so that's that part. But I was actually more interested in this card thing here, right? So, okay, let's just do this. Let's add this card thing around the actual UL div class equals this here. And also, that's actually the nice thing about Tailwind. It's so easy to reuse these classes. And that's, I guess, also why it's, oh, look, you know what?
Done.
I think that's good enough for now. Yeah, that's why the CSS class once the basic style sits, it doesn't grow anymore, right? Because it's just the same classes all over. Really nice.
And there's so many examples out there with UI elements where you can borrow a layout like this or put it in a grid next to each other, have some lines under it, some different background colors.
That's actually pretty awesome. So I just wanted to have a look at something because, oh, look at this. I assigned this one attachment to the product listing page, and it already shows up here out of the box without doing anything. So that was assigned to a container that still exists in Hyvä. So cool.
And that's the same HTML file?
That's the same HTML file. Yeah, that's why it still looks like this card. So it doesn't quite fit the way this sidebar is styled, but yeah, very good. You know, that's probably good enough to give you an idea of how this usually works. So all in all, yeah, we have these Hyvä_prefix layout files. We just copy over the template files to adjust them. And maybe we'll do another video about converting some JavaScript to Alpine. That's actually a lot of fun. But for now, I'm kind of covered what I wanted to cover. So awesome. Thanks for your help.
2 files, and it's basically compatible. I wouldn't be surprised if even the one on the CMS pages uses the same HTML file, and it's all done. But yeah,
let's have a look.
It's a simple example, this module, which we know beforehand because it doesn't have JavaScript. So that's why we picked it as the first one to show. But
oh wait, I would have to assign it to the CMS page, right? So I'll go here, edit. Yeah, it's a nice simple example. So that's great. So to use this, you would have to purchase the original license, right, from Miraswit for your project. Which one was I working on? The contact us page.
I'm not looking at your screen anymore. So
oh, I'm not sharing. I thought I was sharing. I'm sorry.
You were for a second.
Oh, I double-clicked by accident. I'm still so nervous. So here we go. Let's use About Us. Just as a quick test. I'm really curious to see if this works now. So About.
Yeah, that's looks like that's not linking to the About page.
So what is the About Us URL actually?
I think you already got it open. It shows the title there and not 404. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
so but it's not styled.
So,
It's not showing. Okay. Well, we won't go into detail now, but it can't be much more than what we've got already. So
awesome.
It's pretty good. So stop sharing. That's better. Cool.
Yeah, and as you were saying, you need to still buy the commercial license from the extension vendor, but then this would go into our GitLab environment where every member that has a license has access to.
Well, not that original module, just the compatibility module.
The compatibility module, right. Yeah. So this, I refer to this. So this module that we just started to create.
Yeah.
And as soon as we wrap this one up, so we'll finish this one and then share it, and everyone can profit.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's actually kind of fun building these compatibility modules. I've been doing that, as I was saying, the last couple of days, and yeah, it's good. The hard work already is done by the original author, and this is just easy stuff, but it feels as if I'm super productive building all these modules, right? So it's actually very good.
Yeah. I'm eager to get into more complex stuff, heavy JavaScript, and see if we slash through that just as quick. Probably not, but this is an excellent first example. Really nice. Okay, so let's wrap this one up. Thank you. Well done.
See you soon. Yay.
Bye.